to be one of my favorite days because I've had this project on my to-do list for a long time. So I'm going to start planting a display native pollinator garden. And one of the things that I did was ordered little tiny plugs. I will actually put in the description where I got it from because this woman grows seed grown native plants and will ship them. So if you want in on this, you'll have a really reliable source to get your plants from. So what I'm doing today, this paddock area at the farm is kind of wet. It's very slopey. It really does create a beautiful meadow when you let it grow up. But one of the things I want to focus on is really giving people an idea of how beautiful native plants can be and how beautiful native plants can create a meadow that actually has ecological benefits. So finally, it is now October. We've received our first frost last night. So all of my flowers are kind of getting ready to go dormant. We're gonna get ready to dig dahlias, but now's the perfect time to kind of get in all of these plants. Native plants are super tough. They have really steep, long roots. They establish really well. And once they establish, they're drought tolerant and they provide so many benefits for insects in our climate. So here's what we're gonna do. I've already started making a trail. I'm rototilling two, I'd like to say parallel. Yeah, I guess they would be parallel paths. And so this is actually going to be my planting area. And what I want and hope to have happen is that when people come to visit the farm, they're able to walk through the grassy part of our native plant garden. So I kind of want it to be an experience. And so I'm gonna take this sort of 5-foot wide rototill path, make it windy, make it something that's kind of just fun to walk through also for kids, and also have people be able to experience all of the insects and the benefits and just see the beauty that native plants can hold. We all get caught up in ornamental plants. I'm one of them. I love them. You know, my home gardens have tons of hybrids. But I am really excited about creating like a solely native plant garden, or at least a majority of the plants that are going in here are going to be native. So we are going to have coneflowers, we're going to have hyssop, we are going to have Culver's root. There's going to be a ton, and I'll do a plant list and kind of show you guys what I get in on Thursday. They're tiny little plugs, but they are going to go in, and our ground is still warm. Next week it's going to be lows at night of the 50s and 70s during the day. So I'm just so excited to get this project underway, and I'm going to take you on my journey to create it.
You gotta come up and then cut it like right by. Like, yeah. Keep going up, keep going up. Keep going. Keep going. Go ahead, a little bit, cut it slowly. Yep. thought you were just gonna drive over it. Oh, maybe a little. Yeah, there you go, there you go. Yep. Just keep it a little wider. It's because it was tighter on the inside.
So I got the first 2 rows rototilled. It's a little hard to keep them parallel, especially when it's a little muddy. But good thing about the grass path, it will grow back. So there's one little corner piece here that I have to fix. As you can see, I went a little bit wide. But anyway, I'm not really concerned about that. I love the way that this looks, and it's kind of just like a meandering border. I am going to rototill a little thicker. If you see where this really sharp bend is, right about, I can't get in front of the camera. Right there, yes. So that bend, I'm actually going to rototill in between on the outside to connect that and make it a little wider, because I may put some native shrubs in there also, because I think that's really going to have good appeal and they're going to grow really well because this is full sun all the time. So the first 2 pads are in, and I'll get my plugs, and then it's really about laying out. And one of the things that about this paddock, the lower part of the trail where I just rototilled is really wet. So things like lobelia, great blue lobelia, the red, just the plain old red cardinal flower, all of those love water. They literally pout in the garden when they don't receive water. So they don't mind wet areas. So we're gonna focus on putting all of those native plants that don't mind the wet areas down in that location. So there's a variety of soils in this pathway. So I'm excited about kind of designing this and laying it out and just seeing where it takes us. And I'll show you what kind of native shrubs we have also to put in. I do have some in pots that I've been waiting to plant. I have buttonbush, I have spice bush. Oh gosh, I don't even remember what else we do. So anyway, but I have to go through my list and see what we're gonna put in there, give them the space, rototill an area, and then hopefully this turns into a glorious, glorious nature path full of full ecological benefits for pollinators. I also got some plants that are a little more established. This is ironweed, and this is Summer's Swan Song variety. I love it. You can see obviously this is a little behind the 8 ball, but they do bloom later in the season. Right about now, I do have some regular hyssop. I'm actually going to grow some of the Golden Jubilee hyssop, which I sell seeds for on my website. I have some of the pink fascination Culver's root. I have echinacea, the native variety, and a couple hybrids. And what else? I think that's about it. So I do have some bigger plants that I'm going to sort of establish along the way in addition to the plugs that are coming. So hopefully, and I'm also going to take some great blue lobelia from my home gardens, which do really well. They're really pretty. They don't get as tall for me as some of the other lobelias, but I have black truffle lobelia, the regular plain cardinal flower that's just plain red and has green foliage, and then also the great blue. So we're going to have a variety of different plants within the same family anyway. So that is basically what I picked up for larger plants this season. I have those in addition to our little plug spice bushes and button bushes and things like that over at the farm. So these are all really kind of young plants. These are a little older than the plugs that are coming, but I can't wait to get these all in, have them play nice, and really focus on making this such a gorgeous nature path. All right, I'm taking some lobelia from my home gardens, as well as some seed from butterfly weed, which is another native, because I can. It's the perfect time to do that. I have a huge amount of it, and it's really easy to come out. So I'm going to cut this back, and what you'll notice in the fall, you have all the new perennial growth comes from the base, so all of this can get cut off unless you're going to collect seed from it, and these are very easily transplant, as well as I have the black truffle lobelia. Which has dark red foliage. So that is going to provide some interest. Even though this isn't a straight species, it is going to offer some benefits to hummingbirds and pollinators at the same time as the great blue lobelia. So I'm going to take some of these things from my garden that have needed to be divided for a while and bring them over to our native garden at the farm. All right, loaded up some plants that got frosted, that really need homes. Actually, there's some native shrubs in here that we're gonna plant. And some of them look all right. Some of them are ready to hibernate and go dormant. Hi, Bri! He's fixing some window panes, I guess.
All right, so today's assignment is replacing window panes. And it's a pain in the ass, but somebody had to do it. Anyway, eventually I'm hoping to replace these windows, but in the meantime, for 35 bucks, I'm gonna throw some panes in them and see what happens. Stay tuned.
So, Madison is taking my truck, and we've loaded up plants in the back. The ones from the high tunnel that we showed you, and some other ones that were sitting on pallets. And we are going to start getting some grasses and some plants planted in our first ever native plant garden. So not 100% of these plants are going to be native, but it is going to be based a lot on native cultivars or nativars. Some of these are not straight species, but that's fine. They are bred from straight species. So I just want to see how this all comes about, and really, I can't wait until this shapes up and really they start taking hold. So we're gonna get some shrubs in here, kind of get the bones done, and then plant some of the larger potted plants that we have already. And then on Thursday, I have a whole bunch of plugs coming. So we're gonna get those planted throughout this path. All right, don't go too far because that's wet down there. Right here? Yep. Lots of grasses, ironweed, hyssop, and mountain mint. We're actually gonna put some mountain mint in. And I have some Rosa Sharons that are gonna go just as a backdrop. I might start creating an ornamental garden as a backdrop way over in this corner. So we're gonna get some shrubs in for the foundation there and some foundational shrubs there. Just so next year when I put in some perennial gardens, this is just going to be sort of like this native garden pathway to ornamental gardens. So hopefully this paddock will start taking shape and really start looking good. You can see up top we have lots of meadowy weeds, goldenrod, that sort of thing. So I kind of definitely have to manage those seeds, but that can get brush hogged. There is Queen Anne's lace up in there, so I don't mind some of the stuff. We may just have to hit it a couple times a year to manage what takes off and what takes over. All right, so we've started placing some grasses. These are actually switch grasses, but I kind of like the way that grasses look in here. And we're gonna do some blue stem grasses also. Those are native here. These are not native, but they're amazing. They offer really good color and texture. So we decided to put some button bushes in the center of this arch. And I think that's gonna work really well. There's 5 of them, and they're sort of gonna act like a, just sort of a mounding cluster of shrubs. So they have really cool flowers on them, little white ball looking spiky flowers. And so I just think that they will actually round out this hedge really nice, because that's also the way that they grow naturally. So we're gonna put 5 babies in, and I'm gonna mark them with bamboo. All right, so day 2 of working on our native garden. We finally got some of the plants in. So we have some of the grasses. This is switchgrass. We have a lot of the agastache going in. We have pulver's root going in. And so what I'm thinking about when I place these, one is gonna be the mature height. So it's really easy when you have smaller plants to plant a little too close because they're little plugs, right? And what you wanna do is make sure that you know what the mature size of your plant is after 3 or 4 years. And usually you can find that stuff really easy on Google. So like for example, the hyssop that's going in right now, I know that it gets up 4 to 5 feet tall in my yard, has beautiful flowers. I just want to make sure that when I place those, that I place them sort of toward the back or on the outer edge, so that they don't flop over into the walkway, and that they're not, you know, going to really hinder any shorter plants behind them. So I kind of am going through this thinking I'm plopping color in. So kind of sporadically with the larger size plants that I have, and then when I get the smaller plugs, I'm going to start really plugging those in where I have bare spots. So this is a little bit of fun. This is a little bit of the fun part of it, is to design it, to try to, you know, foresee what the size and shape and colors of these things are going to look like. But for now, we're going to get the bigger ones in. I like the way this is shaping up already. I don't know, I have a creative vision. I don't know if we're gonna get there, but you guys will be along for the journey. So one thing we also did was we took 5 button bushes and planted them sort of in this droopy arch of the walkway path. And there's 5 of them there. Now they get really big and moundy, so I think that's gonna be a really nice hub for the center of this path. So I'm hoping that those will take off. It may take a few years for them to fill out and leaf out and look good, but for now, they're in. And then also I have a spice bush, which gets like 6 to 12 feet tall and wide. So that's why I'm planting it really far over here. I have to allow this little tiny twig some space to establish and really do its thing. This is gonna get full sun. It's gonna have constant moisture. It does drain, we're on a slope. So I'm hoping that within a few years, we'll really start to see the structure and bones of the outer edges of this nature path take shape. So I'm excited to get those in. And then I have some of the larger serviceberry trees. And serviceberry trees, oh my gosh, there's such a range of sizes that you can find online. Like some people will say it gets 5 feet tall and wide, and others will say 25. So I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna work out, but I'm gonna plan for it to be a massive tree. They're beautiful, they get white flowers. And I think I'm gonna put it one way up in that corner, and hopefully neglecting it will do it good. And then eventually it'll just be this beautiful tree that we wanted. So a serviceberry is gonna go way up in that corner. Plus if it does get to 25 or even 15 feet, it's gonna be a beautiful anchor on that side. So I think that's just how I'm kind of working through this. Not exactly sure if I'm gonna love where all the plants are, but the good thing about sort of a meadowy native garden, you don't have to. You can change things up. They're really hardy, so if I need to move things around, replant, or even seed certain areas if things don't take really well, I can do that. I did find a lot of echinacea plants that I grew from seedling from my own sale. If you were able to get seeds from my sale in 2023, there was a whole mix of echinacea seeds I collected from my gardens. Well, I did grow some of those seeds here, and I found quite a few 6-packs of those seedlings. So I'm actually gonna put those in and plant them around, so we'll see what we get. I haven't seen them bloom yet. They were kind of neglected this year, but they're still alive, so that's exciting. If they can survive that, they belong in here. But yeah, so this is the beginning works of the garden. On Thursday, we're gonna get all of the, you know, about 100 plants in plug size to fill in. So I think that'll be a little harder to figure out where we're gonna put them because you really have to visualize their mature size. But for now, I'm happy with the way things are shaping up. You never look normal.
I never look normal? You pull my face. Oh my god.
Brr.
No.
Now all of a sudden it's freezing.
I was literally just sweating.
All right.
Fun project today, I would say.
Yes. Maddie could not wait to join us for this native garden project.
Besides the fact that the soil sucks and it feels like clay, so we have to take the SHIT from over there and bring it over here because it's dry and mix it up, so that's fun.
Yes.
That's a little added piece of work.
Yes. Well, yes, our soil is pretty awful here, but what's the good thing about planting native plants? They love clay. They don't care. They just need a good establishment period. They need to be weeded for the first couple years, and then they will just grow like wildfire even if the soil is crappy.
Soil over here.
Well, this is because it's wet. So we do have some wet spots. So what plants are good for this spot? Yeah, that's clumpy. That is clay. You could make a bowl. You could make a cereal bowl. You could make a little vase for flowers.
We can open up a pottery
So
board.
this is what clay is. That's what it is. It looks like a lovely turd.
Yummy. Anna, catch!
And we have Anna today, who is my other niece.
My sister, my lovely sister. We
Yes.
look nothing alike.
They are sisters, and they are both related to me. Although sometimes I would not want to say that on camera. No, just kidding.
Hey.
But anyway, so yeah, so they're helping with this massive project, which I'm so excited for. I'm sure they're not having the most fun digging, but
It's cool out. It's not 95 and humid. So
see, that's great.
it's all about the way you think.
It is. It's all about your attitude.
Yes.
And today our attitudes are great. So
awesome.
yes, and Anna is learning like maybe she will never come back and help again, or
I'll come back.
all right, you heard it. You heard it. She said it on film. But anyway, yeah. So we're just like literally finishing this, but I'm so happy to have their help because I also hurt my back this week.
Yeah, dude, why?
You know what happened? I sat for 2 days because it rained, and then I literally couldn't get up. Like it was like almost like my body was not used to sitting down for 2 days, or the chair I was sitting on was super hard and really screwed up just my back. So
That's why they say exercise is good for you.
yes, and honestly, I love moving constantly. So yeah, I learned a lesson. Never sit still, even when you have a day off.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're winding down on the bigger perennials that we have in pots. And I do have some Rosa Sharons that I'm going to put kind of over there just because they need to go in the ground and overwinter. So I'm so happy that they're helping me. My back is happy you're helping me, so thank you.
My back is even more thrilled.
And this is just going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what this looks like. But we are going to go grab some of my coneflower seedlings. Not just the ones I found in little 6-packs, but from my house. We're actually going to go dig up some seedlings that I loved. They have sort of a strawberry pink, and we grew those from seeds a couple years ago. And I'm going to take those mature clumps, divide them up, and put them in here because coneflowers are everything. And they are such like great plants for pollinators, for really everything. All right, back to work. All right, so one thing I want to mention too, if you are starting a garden in the fall, and this applies whether it's native or not, if you're planting in the fall, one of the things you want to be careful of, especially if you're buying from nursery stock that's pretty decent size, is that sometimes you're going to have containers and plants with flower buds in process. Take those off. The reason we're doing that is because we want the plant to focus on root growth and not on getting this little sucker to bloom. It's also like cold at night. Sometimes we have a frost, sometimes we don't. So we really just want the plant to focus on that initial root growth and establishing rather than making blooms. The other thing I want to mention too is when I'm thinking about how to lay these plants out, not only am I thinking about heights and mature sizes, but I'm also thinking about seasonality and color. So you're going to want native plants that bloom in the spring, and you're going to want to think about what the color is going to be when they bloom. The height obviously does play into it, but if you want color throughout this, you have to plant plants that bloom all different times of the year. So also think about when you're making your plant list, you need spring blooms, you need late spring blooms, you need summer, late summer, and fall. fall and summer are going to be your easiest ones. Your echinaceas, your liatris, your hyssop, all of that's going to be hot summer color anyway, but you're going to want to really focus and hone in on some spring color while this is growing for the season until we get to summer. So that is another thing to think about when you're laying out and put it where you're going to put your plants, what's going to bloom when. That's why we're kind of sporadically planting the hyssop, because I want some color here and I want some color there. And if I can't afford to put a whole bunch of color in one spot when I'm planting this up, because this is a super large space and it can get really expensive, I'm going to plant one plant and then I'm going to plant another in different areas. That way I have the same color bloom and the same plant throughout. So it's also going to look a little cohesive. I just wanted to mention that really quick, especially if you're planting in the fall. Make sure you take down the flowering stalks, just like these are kind of done. And you're going to take off any blooms that are in process if there are any. All right, now we're working opposite side of where the native garden is going. We put in some serviceberry trees. These get really big. They're obviously little babies right now, just little twigs, but they have really good healthy root systems on them. And so these are going to grow up rather large, and I am clustering them because I want this sort of corner to fill in. So hopefully they grow in nicely together and it's just kind of a really nice corner look for them. And then over here, I'm finally going to put in some ornamentals, which are the hibiscus, the Rosa Sharon, and we are going with lavender chiffon. Gorgeous double, kind of a paley lavender flower. These really dried out this year, so they are going to look much better next year. But we have 4 of them going in, and I have one purple pillar that Anna is actually digging a hole for right now that I'm going to put at the beginning of the native garden, just to kind of anchor the corner as you walk in. So that is the plan. Also have some American elderberry trees that I think I'm just gonna plug in, maybe even alternating with these lavender chiffon Rosa Sharons. Can't have too many trees, right?
Looks like somebody went field riding in our field.
I did with my tractor. Well, it's a little interesting. I mean, I tried to make 2 parallel rows, but it didn't quite happen. Zoe!
You saw the groundhog that you saw today.
The groundhog's checking things out for sure. I saw him peeking out from over here. I chased his little butt back in.
Well, it looks like you've created an obstacle course for the groundhog.
Well, yeah, sort of.
So, did this happen by accident? Did you get your truck stuck here?
No. I actually, Maddie and I were here and I was like, you know what? Like, I have all these plants and it's starting to frost at night and they're in pots, so they're not really protected. And so I was like, well, I'd love to get them in. And I got some native plants for another job I've been working on. And so I was like, well, okay. So I have some decent sized plants. Frost is coming. Now's the time to get them in the ground. And I just figured now that I have a tractor and a rototiller, why not? So I drove. What I wanted to do was create this native garden, like native inspired. It's not going to be 100% native because I just can't afford to do it 100% native. But what I do have is a good mix of plants, and I ordered a bunch of plugs that are native plants that are coming tomorrow. So those are going to go in, but for what I have now, I can't wait. This is all starting to come together, and I wanted, you know, I love the meandering borders. I do it at our house, at our home gardens. So I just drove the tractor in this weird thing, and then I did another parallel right next to it. I did mess up the corner here, but I expect that the grass will grow in on that corner a little bit, but we don't have to look there. And then I just took some of the cone flowers, see the taller cone flowers with the seed heads on them? I'm actually going to leave the seed heads on, let them kind of establish, let it drop the seeds, let the birds eat it. But those came from my home gardens. Next to that the tool shed, right off the driveway, those were all seedlings that I grew, and they were beautiful, and I'm like, well, guess what? This will actually have some color, but you'll be able to walk through on the grassy area. And it's wide enough that you guys will be able to mow. And yeah, I want to just kind of do a display native garden, and this is what the beginning looks like. We also got some elderberries, some American elderberry trees in over past this garden. So I'm hoping that those will grow up. Those are also native here. I have some Rosa Sharons, which are not native, but they're ornamental and they're beautiful, for some late fall color over in that corner to kind of hide that, I don't know, that mess in the corner. And then up on the hill, I planted about 5 serviceberry trees, so we'll see. And then in the middle of this garden, where there's like kind of a big arching, I don't know, dip, you would say, and there's a lot of grass there in between, and those are button bushes. So those are also native. So there's a lot of like nice foundational shrubs and trees going in. It may take a long time, but they're in, and I'm happy. I've had them since spring, and so I'm happy that they're finally in the ground. And yeah, a lot of the grasses that I had are in there.
So are you going to mulch that? Because it's going to be hard to mow this.
Here's the thing. I actually was really hard to rototill this because the rototill, I don't know if it's the iHitch that we just got that doesn't let the rototiller go down as far as it used to. So I may have to ask about an adjustment. It's freezing.
I know, it's windy today. It is fall now.
I was only able to do like 4 inches down.
So literally, how many hours is this idea? Like you were just driving through the field and...
No, I told you I was going to do a native garden. Why does it matter?
I don't know, because it's almost like...
I had to get plants in the ground. It's frost. Like
you weren't scared when you dropped that bucket and you just started digging up the grass over here?
Do I look scared?
Well...
Scared. The girls were thrilled. I had Anna and Maddie both here. 2 of my nieces, they were here. They helped me. They actually dug it in because my back's been bothering me for the last couple days. So they actually came in. They dug all the holes for the trees over there. I didn't even rototill up that way. But the big, there's like nice trees that are going to grow up and be a nice backdrop for this. This is really wet. Down at the bottom of this garden is really wet. So we put some lobelia down there because they really love the wet soil. They don't mind it. So I'm trying to, we're just placing some of the larger plants that I have now throughout this path. And then tomorrow when I get the plugs, we're filling in. I was debating putting fabric down along this whole path. I don't have enough to cover it all, but I'm sure that the grass is going to grow in and it's going to be a pain to weed next year. But eventually I would love to just have this all kind of grow up together and just walk through it like a path where it can have grass and it can have flowers and it's still pretty, but it'll also give people an idea of what native plants can look like, even if you mix it in with some of the ornamentals.
You do realize I'm head of groundskeeping around here. I'm not thrilled because I don't remember you applying for a permit or even consulting with me before you started digging dirt.
I don't care about that. I did put bamboo stakes next to all the trees so you didn't run them over. Look.
I see that.
And actually, this is a spice bush. So I don't want to hear any excuses about, I didn't know there was a tree there. You should have.
So it's funny because you're like, when we get a tractor, you won't have to worry about mowing or doing anything like that.
I didn't sound like that.
No. You would have been better off just doing what Zoe's doing, and you wouldn't have had to feed me a line of BS. But it's like, now I still have to mow. I'm going to need to buy a tractor next year.
What are you doing?
Zoe is trying to let you know that she loves the grass, and she wants it mowed.
Are you itchy? Come on, get out. Wow. Sounds like snow tires on the car.
That's a stud who put his studs on a little too soon.
Yes. So anyway, that's that. They're all in. Got lots of plants, but lots of repeating patterns at this point. And tomorrow, whole bunch of plugs are going to go in, and we'll see what happens. Next week it's going to be in the 70s, not the 40s. So they do have some time. The ground's still going to be warm for a while. The roots will start establishing, especially for native plants. That's what you want. You don't have to amend the soil when you're planting natives. When you're like they actually recommend to plant their plugs right in the crappy soil. I mean, if they like crappy soil. I joined a garden club, and one of the things, the reason I joined was because they were going over how to create native meadows and native, like do a wildflower meadow. And I'm not really doing that here, but I am taking a lot of the advice and plugging in a lot of natives in this garden, because I think it's important that sometimes people just look at natives and they're like kind of messy. They're not really pretty. They're not typically what you would think of when you see a perennial garden, like my home gardens. But you can plug in natives and make it something gorgeous, and also have it provide ecological benefits, habitat for pollinators, have it be a food source for birds. There's a lot more involved when you plant natives, and what your local spot, like what it wants, what the birds want, what the plants want, what your soil health wants. And that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of feeding all of, New York, upstate New York's habitat. I'm trying to make it worthwhile, get the pollinators here, make them happy with the things that they want. And then also throw in some color and stuff for what I want, because, ultimately I'm here. I wanted to bring me joy also, and it's going to. This is one particular project that I'm kind of going outside of what I would normally do. Normally I want the hot, sexy colors. I don't really care what the plants are. I just want them to all vibe. I'm going to do seasonal color, pick something from each season to have it bloom. Now I'm kind of intentionally doing less sexy things, but it is going to look good. They're going to play nice together, and it's going to provide huge impact for pollinators and habitats and all that good stuff.
What about an impact on our wallet? Doesn't sound like this garden's going to be making us any money.
All of this stuff has been sitting in pots.
Yeah.
And if you have sort of this ambition, like most people now, they're learning about what native plants can do for the ecosystem. You are going to learn how to do this kind of stuff in your yard on a much smaller basis probably. But I would love to have this be an interactive garden where people can show up here and take a walk through, get ideas, get combinations of plants that you like together, and add them to your own home gardens. That is the goal. You can also see it from the road. So I'm hoping that it doesn't look like just people went quad riding. I mean, I'm sure it does right now, but once this gets established and you can come in and kind of do your thing and walk around, and even the trees are going to provide sustenance, and like they're meant to be here. And a lot of times they either get cut down or there's such a loss of habitat. We're going to start bringing that back a little bit to our little piece of the world here.
I thought native plants were invasive, though.
Some, I guess, could be.
Well,
not all. We have a lot of invasives on our farm, but it really is a matter of managing them and not letting them get taller than the other plants that you put in. So plugs are going to be a little harder than the bigger plants, but this is my goal. My goal is to kind of incorporate this, see what happens. I've never done a straight up, native garden walking path. I've never had a space to do it, and I'm doing it on a pretty large scale at this point. So I think it was a good idea to just get the rows. It's like a 5-foot wide row that I'm able to rototill. I have a second one on the other side, and then if I like the way this looks, I can rototill the outskirts of the path again and divide my plants and move some out and make it wider as the years go on. But I think this is a good start, and if I want to expand it and I want to do an additional size or width, I can do that in later years. But I think this is a good place to begin. It's a good size.
Well, I think the best way to begin a native garden is to scalp my grass and create huge divots like this.
Yes, I agree.
So
actually, that's what you're supposed to do. And actually, if you're trying to do a meadow and not necessarily a path where you're walking through, like I'm starting small, but if you want to do a meadow, wherever, or even whatever size space you have, you actually are supposed to either till it up or like mow the grass down, and then you can put your plugs in. But you have to manage the established stuff in your lawn so that the plugs can have a chance to get up tall. And if you're doing a meadow, all of your plants need to be at the same height, basically. I'm kind of doing like a garden nature path, so I'm going to kind of combine what I love with what my goal is and just see how it turns out. That's all.
All right, well.
I'm sure I'll have critics that are like, oh, those aren't native, or they're nativars.
Yeah, but can you use them in bouquets or anything like that? Is this just for the bugs?
Well, the thing is, yes, and actually, good point.
What?
So the more native plants that you have, it actually draws in dragonflies and damselflies, and they eat mosquitoes. So all the wetlands that we have and the mosquitoes we have here, it's actually going to benefit our lands by having tons of dragonflies and bats come eat the mosquitoes. So it is kind of all going to work together, I would hope. That is the goal. So.
Well, if the invasive plants, these natives, get out of control, I'll just throw on a cowboy hat and come out here with my weed eater. And
all you need to do is brush hog. For now, like I have the ironweed. I'm so excited about those. Those get really wide. They have really beautiful ferny foliage and purple flowers in the fall.
So when are we going to see some results down here? Like when next year?
Next year you'll see a good amount. Like the established flowers are going to provide color because they're already full grown. The plugs, it's going to take it'll take a season, but you'll still get flowers next year.
All right, honey. Sorry about your dahlias. Did you document the fact that they all died this week because of the frost?
I don't know what you mean by document. I took a picture of them.
Season is officially over here, pretty much.
Well, I told you I wanted to cover them, and you're like, you don't need to cover them, but guess what? Learn that lesson.
Well, we would have been covering them every night this week.
Yeah, and I still have flowers.
Well, I don't know how you cover them when it's windy down here.
Agribon. Well,
I apologize. I didn't get the frost warning from my meteorologist.
No, you got it from me, and you disregarded it like it wasn't anything.
Well, you don't say it as nice as the weather lady in the morning does. So who am I going to listen to? You or her?
I told you it was going to frost, and you're like, I don't think it's going to be that cold.
She said there was a chance that anything could happen. So yeah, it's almost like they're Halloween flowers now. They're all orange and white. Maybe you could market them that way.
All right, my plugs are here. Lots of plugs, lots of boxes. So we're actually going to do a little bit of unboxing because it's exciting, and I want to show you what I'm putting in. Okay. So, first box is common bone set. So this is actually fun. She has a huge fact sheet from everything from hardiness to how to germinate from seed, how to divide, common and botanical name. Wow. And a picture of the plant in flower, so that is fun. All right, so let's see what we have. This is cool. I've never actually seen anybody package in this way, but these are like, the compostable. They're almost like extra large takeout containers. Wow, very cool. Very, very cool. So you have to keep in mind too that it is the end of the season. So a lot of these plants have gone, they realize that the daylight is getting lower and they're kind of going to go dormant. So we are ready, but look at the size of the roots. Like those are some healthy root systems. So this is a good, I want to say 4 or 5 inches. So she grows them in deep cell trays. Let's see if I can get all of these. And she actually tapes them to the container and wraps them so that there's no shuffling around.
Wow, looks like you finally ordered takeout for the family. Japers.
I know, I hope you like herbs.
Looks like we're gonna have a 4-course meal
Oh
here.
my gosh, I'm so excited. These are plants, the plugs that I told you I was getting for the nature path that we're doing, the native garden. So, yes, so we're on doing it. Look, they're actually in giant, this is actually a great way to ship them. Let me show you. These I unwrapped already, but this is wild bergamot. And she writes on each one of these what's in
So
here.
are you giving a plug out to
Let's
the person who gives you the plugs?
Yes, I think it's Whittlesey Wildflower Farm. Ugh, sorry, I have to look at the box. I am terrible at names. Whittlesey Creek Wildflower Farm.
All right, I'm
So-
sure people know how to spell that. We'll put a link.
And I hope I'm saying it right. Hopefully I'm not botching it. But I have, look at, these are amazing plugs. So she grows these from seed and grows them in really deep cells. And the roots are amazing. Like, these are definitely, they are full. They have filled, they have filled out in the deep cell trays. So I'm thrilled. These are exactly what you want, especially for fall planting. They're young enough and small enough to get in, and they don't cost a fortune. And at the same time, they're ready to establish, and they have really super strong root systems. So I cannot wait to get these in.
Do they sell hair plugs?
I don't know. Why, you need a few?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind having some native locks.
Yeah, native flocks.
Yeah.
Native flocks. So turtle head, and I believe this is the white one, because this I think is the straight species. So I'm excited. I don't have that, so that's exciting.
Did you ever introduce your niece?
Yes, I did. Anna, she came back.
Wow.
Day 2.
That's because she can only hire family.
Well,
Anna, everybody else is like, forget about it.
oh, stop it. Nobody
Well.
else wants to work. Huh?
I wish they would, because this family member could quit.
Yeah, I think you already did, to be honest.
I'm just burnt out, that's all.
Yeah, I'm doing all the work.
Yeah, but watching you do all the work is tiresome.
Did you see my purchase in the high tunnel?
No, I didn't even go there.
I just outed myself. I was wondering why you haven't asked me. Where did I get that and why?
What are you buying now?
This is sky blue aster. Sky blue aster, this one.
Wow, I've been waiting for that.
I know you have. Wait till these bloom. I think people give native plants kind of a bad rap, but I'm about to bring it back, baby. I'm about to do something amazing. I hope. This could totally flop. I'm just trying to like sound positive. But judging by these plants and the ones that I've put in already, I have high expectations. You know me.
Well, hey, when you're a non-profit organization,
Yeah,
you know,
really. I feel like a nonprofit.
you can afford to lose.
Yeah. So we're just unboxing here.
It's weird because I just realized that we kind of never showed anybody the finished addition here that we had done this summer.
This is done. I mean, with the exception of actually putting in the air conditioner for the cool box. Yeah, we're ready to go.
Yeah, minus the garbage over here. I'm going on a dump run.
You need to do a dump run.
I am.
Even Tara said today, is your husband doing a dump run soon? I said, I hope so.
Well, you know, I've been busy. I'm going to be working on the roof this week. We're renting a lift. Replaced all the windows this week.
Well,
Had the boys working here this
actually,
week.
Brian learned a little carpentry. I mean, you know, he did good for his first time.
I
So-
didn't learn it. I've always known it. I've just never done it.
Well, I don't know. I think you have a little learning left to do, but it looks good. We now have windows that function and they're not rotted out, so
Well, unfortunately, it's very difficult for me to do carpentry on this barn because I'm a perfectionist. And nothing here is perfect,
honestly,
except for you, my dear.
This whole barn is off kilter. The walls go like this. You can't side anything straight because it's awful. Literally awful.
Yeah, nothing is level. Nothing is easy here. So, but the windows look good. I'm going to show people.
Your
What I did, yeah. Hey.
Hey, it's a barn. We always get reminded, like when we start to do like a little overachieving with our goals, people are like, it's a barn.
Well,
So, like, you have to take the OCD out of things when you're doing a barn because it's so old and not level, not straight, not anything.
says the woman who was like, you gotta cut that straight.
Well, what I meant was, if you have a windowsill and you have the top sill is at a diagonal, because that's how the two sideboards, that's how it's sitting on the two sideboards. When you paint that, it's going to look at a diagonal. I'd rather you make it level straight across, so when you look at it, it looks straight, and just fill in the little gap. To be honest, because that visual, you don't want people to look at it and be like, okay, that just got replaced. Who did that? I mean, that's what I would say.
No, you want it to look like the person who didn't know what they were doing, like the person who did it originally.
Yeah, the whole barn. Yeah.
Yes, and
Well,
also
the problem is it's so old, and people just tried to throw easy cob job fixes up, and now we kind of have to either.
I'm actually doing a cob job to avoid having to do the siding for a year or two.
Yeah, you can't do too good of a job because.
Yeah, the siding is falling off half of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because once you do something perfect, you'll be like, oh, that means I have to do all of them like this. So, yeah. What
Yeah,
is this?
because
This
when
is
she
nice.
said, can you cut that straight? I pointed to this huge hole in the siding next to the window. I'm
No, I
like,
just mean because I know you're going to paint it. And visually, I would just rather see the right, I'd rather see it level than to see it cockeyed. Because that just, I don't know, that just bunts my brain. But I am impressed that you did carpentry. I'm actually highly impressed that you attempted it and that you started digging into the barn without people here.
I actually
Don't you feel
picked up a
accomplished?
few old windows today.
Did you?
Yeah.
What is that?
So we'll see.
Splinter?
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody so happy about a splinter. Can you go shut my car door, Emily?
I am what you
Please,
call
for a
now
minute?
self-reliant.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
But the only issue is I don't like to rely on myself, if you know what I'm saying.
I know.
Yeah. So, yeah. Without further delay, I'll leave you guys here, seeing that you didn't even order me a sandwich.
Don't you want to know what I received?
I don't know.
I guess
Like-
we could do that after.
They all look like celery sticks
Well,
to me.
yeah, they're all going dormant. It's at the end of the season, but you know what? I am so excited about these plants. I'm not even joking.
I think people will be more excited when they see them in their native setting.
Yeah, back in their native setting.
Yes.
And I really like that she gave fact sheets with pictures of what the flowers look like and all the history on the plant you could ask for.
What do they look like? Oh, hey, we have those.
Yes, we have some of those, and we have some of these.
Oh, yeah, hey.
You know that? But
course.
there's a bunch that you don't, like Hori vervain.
If I knew you were buying them, I would have dug them up for you.
Oh, she gave me seeds. Black Beauty hollyhocks. Cool. Thank you. It's always exciting. This is more exciting than Christmas for me. Oh, more seeds. Cool. It doesn't take much to please me, Brian. You just have to buy me plants.
All right. I'll bring one home tonight.
Not a smokable one.
Please.
Cool. Crimson red, fuchsia, Black Beauty. I've actually never, I bought a perennial hollyhock, or it claimed to be perennial, and it never came back.
Did you check the soil for jumpy worms?
No, these are plugs. These are grown in trays.
Oh.
So I put some of the larger plants that I had in, and now these guys are going to start filling in, and hopefully I can keep up with weeding around them until they get big enough to fend for themselves. That's the plan.
Well, hopefully you're also going to laugh when I pull a prank on you this weekend and come home from the firehouse steak roast with a container of celery sticks. Yeah, because I'm going to eat it, both of them. So yeah, thanks for lunch, honey.
Yeah.
go, Emma. Emma, we're going to check out these windows that I did the other day.
Do not go in Halloween.
Don't go in the Halloween barn? Oh, you guys were decorating the barn for Halloween.
Nope.
So yeah, this is what the wife was, critiquing my great carpentry job. I need a table saw, definitely, but I did go around and I replaced all the window panes, which, I do that as a painter. That's pretty easy to do. Couple push pins, but yeah, it sucks because I really do want to do a great job, but there's no sense doing that until we splurge and decide to do this siding. So hopefully this will buy me a few years. I might even slap a coat of paint on the siding just to kind of give me some time. But, we redid this and it's just temporary right now. But it does the trick. Keeps the birds out. Looks great. So I'm having fun. If I'm going to learn carpentry, I picked a good place to do it. So I know Emma's impressed. Also, another thing we worked on that I always forget to update you people about is the fact that I did get the wife some water to the field farm. We hooked up some hoses, and I think we have about 700 feet. We've got water. Plenty of water. Hopefully that'll help us.
I wanted to show you something.
What?
I wanted to get your opinion on something. We did a little decorating.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yes, I tried to talk her out of having a Halloween party here,
But
but...
you can't. You did last year.
Oh, God, yes.
Not this year. So we decided to put the clown, Crouchy, in as the entrance. So when people come in, come here, you gotta come from this way. Because people are gonna be walking here. I'm pretty sure we caused a few accidents today when people looked over.
Are you kidding me?
Doesn't he look great there?
Yeah, but hopefully we have warm weather that night. So you're going to turn him on, and then when people come, walk into the party, they're going to meet him.
Yes.
I like it. I got to give it to you.
Actually, watch. Here, go in. There's a bin behind him with green. Go get it.
What do you mean?
Just go get see the green top. Can you go get that bin?
Are you setting me up for something?
Does it feel like I'm setting you up?
Yeah. What about it?
That green bin.
This?
Yes.
What about
Pick it up. I actually want it.
it? Oh, for crying out loud. Yeah, it didn't bug me. It's cool. I like it.
No, you didn't wet yourself?
No.
I did.
You did?
Oh my God. The first time it went off, I scared the crap out of myself.
You did?
Yes, me and Tara, I'll show you some videos.
Was it in a pail? 5-gallon pail? Because I found Emma.
No.
Please. If that was scarier than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I like it.
That's Emmeline.
That's cool. When did you get that?
Last year. We never had the Halloween party, so this is a new prop from last year.
So that's why you didn't have to buy one this year.
Correct.
Wow, it's good.
And I'm
See?
broke.
I'm glad we saved money that way.
Yep.
Beautiful. All right. Is this done?
No, it's not done, but we did a lot today.
All right. That's great.
I actually, you
Happy
always,
Halloween.
yeah, right? He always knows when I'm trying to pull something though. What?
What's scarier, me or the clown?
Some days it's a toss
I
up.
don't know. I think my wife sent me a clown emoji this morning. I must be.
That's
scared.
because you pissed me off, and I did call you a clown because you deserved it.
Yeah, well, guess what?
What?
There's certain emojis they don't have yet. You're lucky. Don't call me a clown.